Good afternoon and thanks for joining us in Yaoundé. This week, Minister Issa Chiruma Bakari made a series of declarations giving reasons as to why he had to quit the government at all cost. And among the reasons, he says, he became very difficult for him to have access to the President of the Republic to discuss key issues. And in the same light, Minister Bello Buba Maigari has equally declared that he has to resign from government to have ample time to prepare for his campaign after declaring to run as candidate last Saturday here in Yaoundé. And of course, on the other hand, a series of consultation meetings have been taking place at the Presidency of the Republic this week between the Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, Ferdinand Gongo, on behalf of the President of the Republic, and members of government, senators, MPs, and CPDM big wings from the different regions of the country. And of course, with the objective of seeing how to tackle the ground ahead of the 2025 presidential elections. Plus, the Prime Minister, head of government, Joseph John Gote, is currently in Bamenda. And yesterday he chaired the session of the steering committee of the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the Northwest and the Southwest. And he has to take stock of what has been going on, what has been done, what is still to be done, and how it has to be done. That constitutes a package in today's edition of 360 Degrees. We are beaming live from Yaoundé. My name is Hyson Cha. Stay tuned. You're welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is 360 Degrees. Like we said, we are coming live from Yaoundé, and today we are discussing a series of issues. But before that, we would like to welcome those who will be talking with us on this subject for the next 1 hour. I will start from my left, in no particular order, I must precise, where I have Mr. John Niba. Mr. John Niba is a teacher by profession, and he doubles as a political analyst. He has been here before, and he's here again to share his very thoughts on this very pertinent issue. Mr. John Niba, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much for inviting me once more. Good afternoon to all the viewers of Canada International. It is not in my habits, but I want to extend special greetings to the Minister of Basic Education.
Okay.
The reason being that he, this time around, has made it possible that the list for the recruitment of contract teachers was already out yesterday.
Okay.
And that is what we have been asking for, because the list used to come out late. You know, when Madam...
After school resumption.
Yeah, when Madam, the other lady, Yusuf Adija, was there, the list will even come out in October. When private schools have started, and then the government will recruit their teachers, and then there was a lot of wahala. I think the minister has listened, and the results came out on time, where teachers can go and see where they will start schooling and prepare their living places. Okay. And then private schools can also replace the gap.
Okay.
That is what we are talking about. And then another minister too who did a good job, I think the Minister of Public Affairs and Administrative Reforms, by bringing out the matricles of so many other teachers of higher education who were recruited, and they were working and waiting for their matricles to be out. So I want to remind him that some of us are still waiting for our own matricles too. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Beside you, I have Prince Tam Yai. Prince Tam Yai is a militant of the National Union for Democracy and Progress, and he doubles like one of those who communicates for the party. Prince, you are welcome.
Thank you, Hyson Cha. I'm delighted to be on platform today to share this wonderful moment with concerned Cameroonians to chart the way forward for our country.
Thank you so much. On my right, at the moment, I have Blake Sango Yakubu. He's one of those who communicate for the ruling party, the CPDM. Yakubu, it's been a while. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hyson. Good afternoon to all the viewers of Canada International. It is a pleasure for me once again being on this program in order to carry the voice of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. And I hope we are going to spend a wonderful moment in order to edify the public that are watching us back in the quarters.
Thank you so much. Others will be joining us. For the meantime, John Niba is no longer news. Bello Buba Maigari, Issa Chiruma Bakari, they have declared that they are running for the presidential elections 2025. That is a piece of information you've been following up with a lot of attention. You are reading of that very decision at this point in time.
Yeah, a sad decision to take at that age, because if we think that President Paul Biya is too old now to continue piloting affairs, we equally think that both Mr. Issa Chiruma Bakari and Mr.
Who is 76?
Mr. Bello Buba Maigari, who should be
78
older
well.
than
Yes.
Issa Chiruma Bakari, should be thinking of throwing their heavyweights behind active young opposition leaders that I would not like to call their names. They can pick any of them. They are there. We know those who are who command the grounds in Cameroon when it comes to opposition. We expected them, like fathers of the nation, to support the young ones rather than telling us that they want to stand again. And they know very well that we have accusing figures pointing at them. Mr. Bello Buba Maigari is carrying a very big weight of being the first prime minister of Mr. Paul Biya and has been in government as long as President Paul Biya has been in power. So he takes ample and full responsibility for the mess in which the country is in today. So he cannot claim again that he has just transformed and transfigured and that he will bring something that he has never given out when he was young. Mr. Issa Chiruma, for over 20 years, has accompanied President Paul Biya, holding key positions like communication, which he uttered so many terrible things. I remember when he said Bibi Ngota died of AIDS in Kodingi, and saying some terrible things that brought a lot of anger in the minds of people, in the hearts of people in this country. I think if they want to be in good terms with the masses and with the Cameroonian citizens, they should just support. They should just support any young, active politician who really identifies his or herself with the masses, rather than saying that they are going in for election.
Okay, talking about that, when you listen to Issa Chiruma this week, he made it very clear that they will do everything possible to work and then come up with a candidate that will face Biya. I
think Issa Chiruma is ready to repent rather than Mr. Bello Buba Maigari that is still speaking in tongues. But I think Issa Chiruma is ready to repent, and we think that one can easily tie the knots with the serious opposition we are talking about. And it is a welcome move if he wants to cleanse his image.
Okay. Prince, has it been the atmosphere within the ranks of your party after the declaration of the candidacy by your party national president?
The declaration is not uncommon because this is not the first time our national president is presenting as a candidate. He's been around, like we said, in 1982, appointed prime minister. And when he saw that things were not moving, he had to resign in 1983. And he moved away, but people called and said, no, it was too early to judge the government, come back on board. And he came back in the 90s and launched his own party, presented his candidature in 1992. And I think it's nothing unfamiliar. But what is happening now is that there is a need. There is a need to rescue this country. And not for us, but for the children.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you see his step, or like he was saying, Bello Buba, Biya, Chiruma, age-wise, there's no big difference. In terms of efficiency, if this country is given to the hands of Bello Buba, do you expect anything different from what we have now?
I want to say very clear that age is just figure.
Okay.
And we have 76 years, Donald Trump, who is still waxing strong. We have somewhere around 77, Putin, who is still waxing strong.
Okay.
But we are talking about the capacity. The capacity.
Okay.
Yes.
Yakubu, have you been able to digest the fact that your allies are falling off?
Mr. Hyson, we make the balance sheet.
Okay.
And then we saw that they are moving away. But we would like to tell Cameroonians and the national opinion that concerning, for instance, the efficiency, that is the Chiroma's party.
Yes.
The Chiroma's party was the one, he's the one who benefited from the alliance between the CPDM and his party. Oh. Because if you analyze, before the alliance in 2009, his party was inexistent. But when you look at the way the time he entered into the alliance, his party gained a lot of visibility. It means that between the CPDM and his political party, the person who gained mostly from that alliance, was his party and not the CPDM. Because when we look at...
Are you in any way saying that he's maybe moving away from the alliance is an advantage to the CPDM and not a disadvantage?
Yes, he's moving away to the CPDM will have no impact. Why am I saying so? I'm saying that because before he entered into the alliance, his party had 0 municipality, his party had 0 senator and 0
MPs.
parliament MPs. But today, after he entered into the alliance, he used the advantage. He used the CPDM in order to gain visibility, and his party started gaining some seats. That is why today, when we are I heard people saying that no, the CPDM is over in the Grand North. The CPDM no, we cannot be talking of being over in the Grand North, because the two parties, the two ministers who resigned are from the Benue. That is one division from the about 30 divisions in the far north. Bello Boba is from the Benue, Isha Chiroma is from the Benue. They are not talking on behalf of all the other regions, the Adamawa, the far north. No. Okay. We have many other ministers from the from the north and many stronghold from the far north, Adamawa, who are still with the CPDM. And when we look at figures, the alliance, being it from the UNDP, being it from the Chiroma's party, yes, from the Chiroma's party, was only based on presidential elections.
Of course.
Meaning that when it comes to municipal and other local elections, they stand on it is a pure competition. But when we look at figures, out of the 89 councils that, including urban councils, in the Grand North, Chiroma's have only 2.
Of course.
He had 3 parliamentarians and he had 1 senator appointed. It means that someone like this resigning with two councils, 3 parliamentarians and 1 if appointed senators, people are telling us that no, it is over for the CPM. It means that no. Let's be serious.
Okay,
let's be serious.
Gentlemen, let's welcome Ernest Akufo. Ernest Akufo is not a new face. We don't need to introduce him again. He's a civil society actor and a political analyst. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Hyacinth.
Yeah, you came while we were already. Unfortunately, I will not give you time to catch your breath because we have to move to the main subject of the day. Just your reading of what has been happening from Chiroma to Bello this time around.
I want to say good afternoon, televiewers and my co-panelists. That's the lone thing you can do when you meet people on panel. So I want to say what's happening in the political arena in Cameroon now is not new. Not new, but the timing is what is very important. And you see, when I hear Yakubu talk of the resignations being sans effet.
The insignificant resignations.
Yes, sans effet. I begin to ask myself, if there was no resignation, there wouldn't have been any consultations at the presidency.
Okay.
Yes, because it is from the resignation that there are consultations at the presidency. Well, some may not openly throw in the towel as Minister Chiroma and Minister Bello have done, but implicitly they have thrown in the towel. Yeah, you see, people play to the ostrich, right? Yes, they don't want to come out straight and say, okay, this is this. So the noise, the hell of a noise, which is all about the place, about their resignation, whether it has an impact or it hasn't got an impact. At one point in time, I want to think that it is to raise the stakes. Yes, yes, the beats, because formally, if he was the lone person representing a party in government, he wants that his political ally comes back to the table again and tell him, okay, I'll not only give you one minister this time around, I'll give you 3 ministers, 2 ministers, 3 ministers, 2 director generals. That is the meaning of politics. It is a game of interest.
That is where the problem is, because they say that talking you are asking them, maybe you are thinking about, which they used to concern as people who came into alliance, doesn't longer exist.
Good.
It doesn't exist, and I don't see it being inconsequential. It is very, very consequential. Very consequential in the sense that when you look at their outings, the outings of Minister Chiruma, he is very vehement and making certain declarations. Well, we've often known him for that, but this time around, when we hear him talk, it becomes problematic. And October will not be easy in Cameroon. I don't mean there shall be a talk of war, no, okay, sir. But the competitiveness, because of the stakes, the stakes are high. And each and every political party leader who wants to go in wants to do everything possible to carry the day. We're talking about presidential elections.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's the topmost job in this country. But Hyson, before I hand over the mic to you, I want to say that these elections this time around is not a child's play. Why do I say that? Because I'm looking at some people who just coming in. It seems as if they don't know where they are leading to. But behold, you must always have ambitions, and you must always have to say, okay, let me do an attempt. There's no harm in trial.
Okay, thank you so much. Gentlemen, I will be coming to you, John Niba. Let's go and see what has been happening at the Unity Palace this week in one of the reports. Of course, we don't have all the reports of the different consultations, but at least let's have a picture of what has been happening with this report done for us by Beatrice Ngamu.
Conviviality in the air Thursday at the Unity Palace as regional consultation continue to give the ruling CPDM party a dominating position in the upcoming elections. The Minister of State, Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic, Ferdinand Ngongo, acting on behalf of the President, Paul Biya, in his capacity as National President of the Cameroon's People's Democratic Movement, CPDM. The Adamawa delegation, led by Deputy Secretary General of the Presidency Muhammadu Mustafa and Secretary General at the Ministry of Forestry and Wildlife Kurusumi Alhaji Buka, comprised some 20 personalities, including CPDM parliamentarians, among them the Vice President of the National Assembly, Theodore Baoro. By his side, senators such as Muhammad Gabdo Yaya, all present to assess the forces at play in the Adamawa region, the challenges and way forward ahead of the upcoming presidential campaign. Next came the delegation from the West region in the early evening. 27 personalities came in, among them prominent figures. The Minister of Public Works, Emmanuel Nganu Jumesi, that of Scientific Research and Innovation, Madeleine Chuinte, the Minister of Urban Development and Housing, Celestine Kecha-Kutes, and the Minister Delegate at the Ministry of Transport, Njoya Zakario. Also present, key figures from the administration, such as the Deputy Secretary General of the Prime Minister's Office, Pascal Ngie Kante, including the numerous parliamentarians from the region, such as Senators Emmanuel Chatwe, His Majesty Max Pokam, and François Benu. The Vice President of the National Assembly, Theodore Datu, also present, as parliamentarians Jean-Claude Feteux, Albert Quinche, and Claude Njumo Monte. Since July 1, this has been the color at the Unity Palace. Time for listening, for recommendations, for observations, to set the new path to shape the CPDM party for the October presidential election.
back, and we equally want to apologize that we will not be able to have Madam Ejit Kawala for one or two reasons, but of course we shall be having her on our set subsequently. Gentlemen, so far we've had the delegations from the far north, the Adamawa, the west, and the south at the Unity Palace for these consultations. Mr. John Niba, you are reading of this particular exercise.
Yeah, my readings confirming exactly what Minister Issa Chirima said, that it is not President Paul Biya who is piloting affairs in this country again, because first of all, we expected him to be there. And those gentlemen and women who were there, nobody is courageous enough to ask, where is he?
Are you sure they didn't ask?
The report did not say so.
Okay.
We did not get any answer. You see, and that is the hypocrisy in which we live in. And let me also use the opportunity to remind those people organizing that hypocrisy that as much as they are being hypocrites, the parliamentarians and the dignitaries they invite, they are also playing hypocrisy. And then the loser will be the CPDM. They are not honest to themselves. If they were honest, first of all, they would have reminded Minister Ngongo, the Secretary General of the Presidency, that this meeting does not concern the whole of Cameroon. It is CPDM party meeting. Let's go to the CPDM party house that they inherited from the CNU party without constructing. And today they are running away from it. We don't know why. And then it is so curious to note that a gathering, a meeting or consultations are taking place concerning President Paul Biya just at a today, and he cannot leave from one room into the other room to meet the people. And people are still calling for him to stand again, and the others want us to believe that he will be capable again to maybe rule for another 7 years. The handwriting is so clear. This is a negative publicity for the CPDM because, one, it shows us that the man is no longer on his feet. Why is he absent? At the presidency, that is where he is supposed to be and working. And secondly,
he has delegated somebody working on his behalf.
Listen, it is so ugly to delegate. Do you know that the President of the Republic has attended occasions in Cameroon and conferences through, they say, you remember when he asked the Speaker of the House of Assembly to represent him when they were handing over the building that was donated by the Chinese, if I make a mistake. The Speaker invited the President, and the President asked the Speaker to represent him. Why? Simply because the age does not permit him again to do those things. So, Cameroonians are reading. The handwriting is so clear. Why did they have to hold a CPDM consultations at the Unity Palace? We have always cried that the other opposition parties don't have the same treatment, that the playing ground is not level.
Yeah.
Do you imagine Maurice Kamto or Cabral Libby or Joshua Oshie going and holding something in the Unity Palace like that? That is already signs of the balance weighing on one side.
Okay.
And I call on Cameroonians to be vigilant, because now that the North is breaking away,
not the North per se, some big wings from the North. Maybe it's better that way.
Thank you very much.
Let's move on.
The allies
Try to learn.
that brought in the Grand North to throw its weight on the CPDM, those allies are breaking away, and when the foundations are falling off, we know that the building will not stand. I think that the only thing Cameroonians need to do is to be vigilant, because the next thing will be tampering with figures. And we want to count on Elekam for peace to be in this country. Let the figures be given to us the way they are, so that there will be peace.
Okay.
Because the game, please, for long, man, that the Constitutional Council is incompetent. When you refuse justice through the right means, what do you want? Do you know that after 2018 presidential election, BAS was created everywhere in Europe because of irreservable that came from somebody? They saw fraud, injustice, and the only word was irreservable. It boiled down to BAS, and we see how BAS is tarnishing the image of Cameroon. Somebody must carry that blame, and it is that president of the Constitutional Council.
Okay, Prince, ever since this consultation started, as militant of the NUGP party, what has been running through your mind?
One thing is very certain, Mr. Chair, that a tooth doesn't run around the day without something chasing it. Either it's chasing something or something is chasing it. So I believe that these consultations are coming a little bit late because once the people have made up their mind, I think because most of those people he's consulting are the same people who have been on board. So I don't think that you need anything from them again. So it's just to console yourself. But we...
if the old strategies have been working, what's wrong? Going back to the same old strategies to consolidate them.
But we of the UNDP, we are not moved. We are very calm because we believe that time defines and refines everything. The time has come. Cameroonians know what to do. Hold 10 consultation meetings, hold the ones in the night, hold the ones in the afternoon. It will not change the fate of this country in the next few months.
Talking about you at the UNDP not being touched, we are talking about presidential election. Are you nationally implanted to be able to pull the crowd for the presidential race?
We have done that in 1992. It's not unfamiliar that we will still do the same.
The results were not what you expected.
The result, we had the results, even though the system has always been what it is. Before we went in for the convention, we signed the government action platform. And later on, this is 25 years now, since a follow-up committee was put in place. And the proposals were made to be implemented by the Biafra government. Unfortunately, these actions, these proposals were not implemented. And that is why the president, the grassroots of the National Union for Democracy and Progress, had to pin the Central Committee to call for the Central Committee meeting so that we should move in. We should move in, and that is what happened.
Okay. Enes Akufo, I'm coming to you, Yakubu. Enes Akufo has strategic these consultations, especially at a time we are witnessing a kind of political divorce from the different allies.
Talking about the consultations, I would say I will remember one late politician, Minister Kodok. He said,
Federico Kodok.
Yes, Minister Federico. He said, even when you're drowning, if you see a snake, cling on to it.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
I think that answers your question because what is happening now is like a cow that's been taken to the house of slaughter. There is no turning back. You get the point? Yeah. There is no turning back. But behold, the cow cannot let go. The cow will always fight until the guillotine cuts off the head. That is just what is happening. You see, it's not easy in politics to throw away the towel. Yeah, because you frustrate many people.
Yeah.
You must always rekindle hope right to the, politicians, well, if I compare them to medics, because medics will never tell you your patient will die. Medics will tell you this patient will live. So politicians will tell you, I'll buy you bread from a chemist. Yes, that's just what is happening now. Excuse me for drawing that parallel.
Yeah.
But because if there was to be a random sampling of Cameroonians across the board, you feel the frustration through which people are going through. There are no roads, no potable water, no electric energy. Inflation is at its peak. Yes, people live barely on $1 per day in Cameroon. Prices have skyrocketed in the market. And rice, which was the cheapest staple food in Cameroon.
What about Gary?
Gary, just forget. I said rice. To get a kilogram of rice, quality rice, you must spend at least 800 francs. And how many kilograms can a household fit on for a day? So, don't mind what you're seeing. It's just like playing to the gallery, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because if you throw in the towel, too bad then.
He was also saying that those consultations at the Unity Palace...
it is, but yes, it's but... Tyson, there is something... You see, if you want to live like a Cameroonian, at times you better stay without questioning. Because those are party consultations which are taking place at the Unity Palace, the palace of the people. But now it is a single. He drew the parallel. Can Joshua, can Kamto, can Bello, can Issa do same in a structure? Because what I begin to foresee is between now and the elections, apparently some parties will not be allowed to hold public rallies. That's just my what I'm foreseeing.
Okay.
That will be serious infringement on the democratic principles and the principles governing and being in for elections. You see, I've often said there is a lack of political education in Cameroon, and I think this was the appropriate period between now and election period that political party leaders ought to do a lot of conscientization of their militants.
Okay. Yakubu, questions have been asked. Why is Biya not the man receiving the different delegations from the different regions as the national and natural chairman of the CPDM party?
Yes, Mr. Hyson, let me tell you something that we in the CPDM, the President of the Republic have decided to decentralize work. It means that being it in the party, being it in the governance system, things, work is being divided. When they talk of division of labor, it means that you are only there to coordinate. You have an overview of all what is taking place.
Before you continue, what is CPDM's position? What is Ngongo's position in your party?
It is not a matter of a political party.
It matters.
Wait. Actually, what is being taking place, it is not that militants or a CPDM issue taking place at the Unity Palace. Those people who are invited at the presidency are representing Cameroonian people. It means that they have the mandate from the people. They are not going there as
ministers have the mandate.
They have the mandate.
Ministers?
Wait, let me tell you something. A minister.
Let him land, please.
Where are the opposition?
Let him finish.
When you were talking,
let him finish. I'll give you time to talk,
yes,
Mr. John Neva.
Yes, they are there. We have senators. We have the President of the Republic has a mandate. It means that those are decentralized powers of the President of the Republic, because when the President appoints a minister, that is part of the power the people gave him, and then giving him the right to appoint someone to delegate his power. Yes, to someone to take charge of, to be in charge of transport, to be in charge of education and etc. That is why consulting them who are carrying the mandate of Cameroonians is something which is credible.
On national issues or party issues?
On national issues, what their people on the grassroots, their own lecture, their own view on what is taking place at the national level. And let me tell
So the CPDM is a state party.
That's it. That's what he's confirmed.
The CPDM is a state party, right?
Let him land. I'll give you time to
what
talk,
I've said is that those people who are invited at the presidency are elected and they are carrying the votes. They have been plebiscited at different levels by the Cameroonian people.
They are the representatives of their people.
Representative of their people
move on,
at the
please.
grassroots. Meaning that if you see a parliamentarian there at the Unity Palace talking about issues containing
again. That is what they were talking
concerning his locality, it means that he has the mandate of.
Did they talk about their localities there?
Now, secondly,
please, John,
coming back to those who have divorced or those who have resigned, let me tell you something that Mr. Cameroonians should not be naive. We cannot have someone like, let me take the example of Issa Chiroma, who he was Minister of Transport, appointed Minister of Transport from 92 to 96. At that time, he said, no, the regime was very good and then everything was moving okay. When he was ejected in 96 as Minister of Transport.
When he was disappointed.
Yeah, when he was disappointed.
Yeah, you were right.
Entered into opposition from 96, 2004, 2008, etc. He was on all platforms explaining how the regime was poor, was this, was a satanic, and etc. In 2009, he was appointed back, and he started as Minister of Communication. The same person started telling Cameroonians that President Paul Biya is closer to God, he's this, he's that, and etc. Today, about from 2009 to 2025, about 11 years after, the same person comes back.
16 years.
Yes, he comes back again, telling us that no,
It's normal.
it is go.
But I think if you listen,
That's being realistic.
It's being realistic. It's normal.
It means that.
Yes.
It means that that type of person is not credible.
It's credible.
Because today, if he tells you that Mr. Hyson is not a good person,
When you
tomorrow
listen-
he tells you that Mr. Hyson is wonderful, is very objective,
Mr. Hyson
and
has
the
been-
day after tomorrow
Yakubu-
he comes back again to say something different.
Yakubu, when you
have
listen
to be.
Yakubu, I will give you back the mic.
Yes.
When you listen to his latest outing, where he says he has tried for over years, I think 3 years or something, to have the normal conversations he used to have with President Paul Biya, to no avail. Now, like somebody whom you are in an alliance with, do you think he should stay there and then because Cameroonians will not trust him again?
Let me tell you something, Mr. Hyson. Those people who unilaterally decided to break off or to divorce from this alliance, it is not in accordance with their base militants. With their militants in the grassroots. Let me take a simple example. Let me take a simple example. We have
Who defines the policies? Who defines the policies of a political party?
Please let him land.
We have somebody like Marie-Rose Dibon, who is one of the militants and which is one of the key militants of UNDP.
Yes.
She clearly, I'm not the one saying it.
Of
She
course.
clearly declared that. Firstly, she was not consulted
About resignation?
about any resignation issue. Secondly, she is not aware of the reasons why the national president decided to move away. And secondly, and thirdly, she is not
Going anywhere.
concerned and she's not going anywhere.
Because
it
it's the
means
presidential
that
decree that appointed her.
if today Bello Biba might, because let's be clear, Bello Biba Maigari has not resigned as minister.
Not yet.
Not,
But he has
he has
said-
not resigned.
he
It's
has
not
said-
the issue of not yet.
Listen,
He's
listen.
talking in the future
Listen,
that I will.
He has said, I need time for my campaign.
Okay.
Of
We are
course.
3 months from election. Somebody tells you that he needs time. What does that mean?
He will resign.
It means that 3 months from election.
Okay.
It means that
Try to
if
land, please.
if Marie Rose Dibon is telling us in a public media that as one of the key members of that party, she is not aware of the reasons or whatsoever the arrangement that has been made by that party for any resignation of any divorce, and she is not ready to resign because she's there to save Cameroon. It means that what they are talking about, militants from the grassroots, is false.
Okay, thank you. John Niba, you were itching to react quickly
Yes.
before I get to
I want to say that is Yakubu. Yakubu is just a victim like any other victim in the CPDM party. First, they don't talk. That is President Paul Biya, who has not convened any Congress. He's outdated. He cannot stand again. It is only Leon Tele Onana who can talk. You cannot talk. You don't have even the courage. Please.
I will give you time.
Even
Yes.
all the professors, all the doctors, the ministers, all the old people we met there, family heads are afraid to look at President Paul Biya in the face and tell him that call the Congress. So when you sit there and say President Paul Biya has given out decentralization, how can he decentralize his party more than decentralizing Cameroon?
Country.
Because that vocabulary came into his that word came into his vocabulary when in 1996, thanks to the Anglophone pressure, the constitution was revisited and they required effective decentralization that he has never wanted to apply. And you want to claim that for the fact that he has abandoned his duties since 2018 to Mr. Ngongo. Please. You call that decentralization?
I will give it. We are rather wasting time if we
You
keep
call
it.
that decentralization? Somebody who abandons the people who voted for him. He abandoned a mandate and then the country is not even moving well. Everything is going down because the president is not there. I believe that if the instructions were coming from the president and there was follow-up, things will move. He has abandoned his duties and you call that decentralization. That is bad faith.
Please.
Let me make it clear to Cameroonians that the discussions at the presidency, nothing was asked whether the cost of rice is how much, roads are good or bad. They were talking about how President Paul Biya can remain in power. And also know that the CPDM is facing challenges both internally and
externally.
Okay, thank you so much. I will be coming back to you. Please, let's just quickly take this. We have a series of messages. This one is pretty long, but let me just take this part. Are we proud of the tourism sector where Bello Buba handled for years?
Question.
Has unemployment been resolved by Issa Chiruma Bakare since he became the Minister of Employment and Vocational Training?
Thank you.
Are we proud of our vocational training centers? That is coming from
Those are fake questions.
Julie
People
Bobo.
dictated
Yeah,
what
but
they
we
did.
have a series of them. Prince, while consultations are ongoing at the Unity Palace, we equally see your national chairman having talks with the likes of Joshua Usi, the chairman of the SDF, Mamadou Mouta, the vice president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement. If I should ask maybe in very simple terms, what is cooking?
There is nothing new cooking,
Okay.
but the National Union for Democracy and Progress is ready to drive Cameroon forward.
Okay.
And their doors are open for consultation, to consult with all the development associations, civil society leaders, to chart a new way for this country.
Okay.
It is all about to rescue Cameroonians and preserve the little we still have left for the children tomorrow.
Okay.
Bello is aware about this, and he doesn't want to join his ancestors without putting things right.
Okay.
Internally,
Okay.
disorganized.
Gentlemen, please.
United.
Gentlemen, unfortunately, we don't have much time. We don't have much time, John Niba. Please, we have to get to take this report so that we dive into what is happening in Bamenda with the visit of the Prime Minister, Head of Government.
The potential plan for reconstruction and development of the Northwest and Southwest regions will this July 4, 2025 chair the 7th session of the plan. It is for this reason that various divisional delegations have constituted themselves to answer present at the visit.
So we expect to know what has been done and what is to be done. We know that a lot has been done by the head of state through the Prime Minister. We appreciate that, and we want now to evaluate and see what is still going to be done.
Do everything within our range to see that the youths are mobilized more than ever to stand by the government and the different projects that are doing. They have renovated our market. They are injecting money into the UNVDA, which is our pride, and the UNVDA is a structure that recruits so many youths in and around the Northwest.
Being an electoral year, it is difficult to pull out politics from the visit, as many ruling party colors were raised high to welcome the guests at the gateway locality of Matazin Santa.
And the citizens of Santa are happy for all what we are doing in the Northwest, the project that is coming to the city. And we are very happy with this power development and road that all of us are trying on it. As the sovereign said, where the road passes, development follows.
Also remaining is a tour of the PPRD project sites in and around Bamenda before departure.
Thank you, Sherifa Saleh and Annie Collins, for that report. Enes Akufo, I would like us to dive in straight the pace of work at the level of the reconstruction of the Northwest and the Southwest. The PM is there right now. You are reading us of the pace at which the reconstruction is unfolding.
Without mincing words, I would say it's not commensurate, right?
Okay.
Yes, not commensurate. This is the 7th session that is holding. Midway gone, because it was a 10-year, it is a 10-year project, 2020-2030. We are 2025. 5 years gone, 600 billion raised, right? Out of the 500, is that?
Yeah.
Yes. I say it's not commensurate. Not commensurate because what is being done, I thought it's putting the cart before the horse, right? Because reconstruction, when people are still being killed,
Shooting.
people are dying, why not use that energy to bring about peace, social cohesion? Because all of this PPRD is all about seeing social cohesion, rehabilitation, and all the like. we can never use the same way we created a problem to solve that problem.
Okay.
And it is always but normal that we solve the causes to a problem rather than the consequences to that problem. Because now we are looking at the consequences of all of what happened between 2016 and now. The major national dialogue which came and went, we must be very careful. When you have a problem to solve, you should rather get to the person and talk with the person with whom you have a problem rather than talk with a club of friends. Yes, talk with the person rather than talk with a club of friends. The special status which was given to the Anglophones, well, to the Northwest and Southwest regions, I begin to fear that even after the special status must have been accomplished, other regions will equally want to have that status.
Do we have it clearly on how it has to be accomplished?
Well, those are some of the shortcomings of the special status or the PPRD, because you wanted to know whether it is meeting up. The coordinator said, okay, they've built bridges, they've constructed roads, they've tried to give farm tools or inputs to farmers so that they could rebuild themselves. They've constructed hospitals, schools. It is not commensurate.
Okay.
Let me say why it's not commensurate, because what becomes of those who left their zones and are elsewhere?
As
IDPs. What becomes of IDPs?
Okay. Maybe when...
What becomes of other areas where the field is not there?
Okay.
Because if you want to say it is palpable, it is commensurate, it should be systematic. And then why do you politicize development?
Okay.
Development shouldn't be politicized.
Thank you.
Yes. Allow politics. Is the president of the Republic said it? It's not me saying it. He said politics for politicians. And other sectors, they equally remain in their sector.
Yes, Prince, the presence of the PM at the Northwest Regional Headquarters right now for a 3 days working session. The stakes?
Quite recommendable. I followed it up. We're quite impressed, especially when Nalova had to question.
Okay.
Yes, why do we say things we cannot do? They are aware that what they are saying, these things are just for political propaganda. There is nothing there. Because we hear the amount of money spent already, and you look, you will apparently feel that Bamenda should be paradise. But when you get to the reality is disconnected from this grammar that we are talking about. That is the truth about it. So we keep talking about billions, this one, billions, but the people that these billions are supposed to touch their lives, are they benefiting from it? That is the question. And she was right.
And you talked about Bamenda as paradise, as per what they have been saying.
Yes.
And then I would like us to zoom on the state of the roads within the city of Bamenda.
That is another situation. It is really a nightmare. Because you don't tell me that you are tarring road from Kombo to Ndu, to Kambe, to Meseje.
That one is the ring road.
Yes,
that one was to limit ourselves.
But now,
the picture
yes, I just want to bring, I just want to compare something.
Yes.
If you are succeeding to do that in such red zones, what more of the city, the roads within the town,
which is relatively calm.
Okay. What is stopping it? And then look at the one going down to Womb. These are situations. Let us stop being hypocritical.
Okay.
And when campaigns come, we start holding meetings, talking things that we ourselves, we doubt them.
John Neva, I see you itching to react. Anyway, yeah. Maybe with you, I would like us to look at this picture again. One of the major projects for this reconstruction again in the Northwest is the ring road. It is not the first time we are getting this.
Hyson, I fear, can I just, let me just comment in
No,
there.
please, let me.
Yeah, one second.
Please.
The ring road, I just said 1 second. The ring road is just being incorporated
Of course.
in the PPRD project.
All right.
The ring road is since
1980.
1982.
That is what I wanted to come.
Yes,
on
that's
and
just
say-
the
and say
small
in
thing I want
2011 or
to
so,
make.
please, in 2011 or so, the head of state said he was going to personally supervise it. At this point in time, are we still going to see that personal supervision from the head of state to make sure that that route is realized?
You see, Mr. Yakubu will agree with me that the head of state has not been different from Mr. Issa Chiruma Bakari, who will say things without respecting them. He promised to personally supervise a road since 2011, and we are still talking about it today. So that is how we lose confidence in the state. So I think the Prime Minister's visits, the only good thing that I see there is that at least a few people came out. I will say a few people because...
Not a few. People came out. We saw the crowd.
Listen, you saw the crowd, but do you know the crowd of Bamenda?
I'm not saying that all Bamenda came out.
Good.
People came out.
Okay, if you are honest between God and man, let the thoughts entered, which is good. And some of us who have our family members and children in that region, when we see at least people coming out, so that peace can be persistent, so that it can become constant. Because even the Prime Minister, I know that by the time he will leave, he will bypass Matazan and is coming down, he will breathe a sign of relief.
A big one, of course.
That at least I entered. So last time, there was the last time he went to Bamenda, they were gunshots somewhere.
Yeah, at
People
Matazan.
ran. Good. So this time around, I think when you cross Matazan, he will take the sign of the cross and say, thank God. And I pray that the government should use such an opportunity to canvass for peace and not to canvass for votes. That visit of the Prime Minister to Bamenda, if Bamenda had benefited so much from the reconstruction, about how many billions I saw, I've forgotten the figures. And the first thing should be what the Frenchman would call a vitrine de Bamenda, the town. That means when you enter the town, you should see that these people, this town where one, there is security. Security in Bamenda town is highest as compared to other places because it is the seat of institutions there in that region. That town should show that reconstruction work is taking place here. But my brother, I was in Bamenda just 2 months ago when my daughter was doing something in school there, and when I visited them in school, it was terrible. Bamenda, you could not move. There is no road. Where is that reconstruction being done? The man is citing schools, citing bridges, but he cannot cite locations of those things. I remember one time he said on CRTV that he's afraid that separatists will go and bomb those places. That is why he cannot cite them. But tell us that the school in Misaje that was burned on this year has been reconstructed. GHS Bafut that was abandoned in the bush, that's my alma mater, has been reconstructed and renovated and is going on. Cite the places. Don't come and tell us huge sums of money that have been squandered, and you give us the impression that the reconstruction is taking place in your stomach and not on the ground.
Yakubu?
Yes, Mr. Hyson, I am so disappointed when I get some type of analysis, because when we look at what happened from 2016, let's say to 2018, and when we look at what is happening today, we really have to at least acknowledge that the government has been doing a lot. We are not saying that everything is over.
When was the last time you went to Bamenda?
It was in 2023.
Okay.
Yes. And we cannot say everything is over or there is total appeasement, but there is a certain type of progress. There is a continuous dialogue. Dialogue is not just, because when people are talking of organizing dialogue, people only think of the type of dialogue we had maybe during the Grand National Dialogue. Let me say no. Dialogue is something that has also been decentralized with the traditional rulers at the level of governors, level of the GOs, SDOs, and etc. Every day, we are all putting our own opinions together in order to see how appeasement can be there. That is why when we look at, in terms of the number of schools that has been opened, the number of roads constructions, we're talking of, I'm not saying that the ring road maybe has been completed, but there has been great evolutions, the GDR centers and etc. And when we look at the outings, the way people came out when yesterday, to welcome the PM and etc., those are positive signs, and we can only encourage, being it our brothers who are still having arms, because whatever be the case, those who are still holding arms in bushes, they are also our brothers. We can only encourage them in order to sit down and look towards the development of the appeasement process that is undergoing.
Okay, gentlemen, unfortunately there is no time, but just this one question. Let me ask the football fan that is here. Today, the PM is inaugurating the Bamenda Proximity Stadium,
which is not one of the reconstruction plan, because no stadium was destroyed there. But it is good news. We think that the aspirations of those young people in Bamenda who want to go into football will be met, but that is just one of the least things the Bamenda man needs now. The Bamenda man cannot vote, cannot even register, cannot go out and enter in an Elekam office, come out safely, and be confident to go and vote again the next day.
Thank you, John. Thank you, gentlemen.
If you cannot vote and they give you a football field, it's of no use.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, for coming. It has been a pleasure. It is unfortunate we cannot continue with the discussions. Our time is up, and we are in a very crucial moment. If you are still one of those who are dragging your feet to go get your voters cards, know that you are absolutely very, very late, because everything being equal, by next week, by July 12, that is the expectations, there will be no room again for you to go and get yourself registered. Once the head of state convenes the electoral polls, the registration process will be automatically closed. So if you are still dragging your feet, make hay while the sun shines. And it is here we are drawing the curtains of the program, rebroadcast on Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Until we meet again next Saturday, stay blessed.